the image looks like. Sometimes Fantasy Grounds does not do that great of a job of importing images. Like zoom to layer. Lead map. Okay, so I don't know why it doesn't let me zoom out. Like, it's not that big of an image. It's really small. But for some reason in Fantasy Grounds it wants to give me this massive image. There we go. It's slowly letting me zoom out a little bit more. No, stop. Sometimes the software is really... I mean, the image is actually really small, and the reason why it wants to blow it up into something like this. That's as small as it'll let me zoom out. I don't understand why. Oh, because I made it that big? Is that why? Now it won't let me zoom out all the way. Drag over. I don't know. I have to figure that out. Citizen is just a yellow bar. I guess if I just don't touch it, it looks okay, but it's so small that I can't even see the name of it. The scaling is really bad on some of this. Okay, and then is green for gentleman and woman. A sheriff's badge. Like that. Maybe because the images are so small, it doesn't like it. And the judge badge is a little purple inkwell with a quill. There we go. Okay, so nobility is next. So the nobility, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ranks of nobility. In the Federation. A Meister. Make this heading. Meister is awarded. Oops. Awarded to the family of a gentleman or woman who have proven themselves and benefited the city. So after you raise to the ranks of a titled person, once you've made it all the way through the ranks of the titled, you're eligible to be inducted into the nobility. Right? The honor can be given or taken away. It is not necessarily hereditary. It may not be passed down. Titles that can be handed down are noted by a bronze emblem on the blue background. So where's my Meister? There it is. So you see the blue background, and this is an example of it with the emblem on it. Control B. An Elderman, that should be capital, it's a title, is chosen from among the noble families and serves on the governing council of the city. The title is given for life, and a new Elderman is selected only when one steps down to become the governor, or when one dies. So we have our Elderman. There it is. Has an E on it with the purple background to find Elderman, governor. Governor is selected from the noble families or from among the Eldermen, most likely, and runs the council of a city. While in charge, they cannot do whatever they want. As anything done by the council must be approved by a majority. And we have a governor. There's a shield on it. A counselor from the city's noble families and serves as a representative in Waterdeep to the Council of Seven, the governing body of the Federation of the Sword. They are usually great heroes or leaders from their region. And we have a Grand Counselor. Like the governor, the Grand Counselor is in charge of the Council of Seven in Waterdeep. They are selected from among the counselors. And that's another title. Current Houses of Waterdeep. We have our Counselor. I don't have images for them because they don't fit into the normal structure. They probably wouldn't have a little badge. They'd probably have like full clothing outfit that'd be different. But you guys have any ideas about what would be cool to add to any of this? Let me know. I'm entering it in to kind of give you a feel for what I've been doing so far, but I definitely would love some input on what you think is working and what isn't working. So the current houses of Neverwinter. This should maybe be in a different thing. That should be in like Neverwinter. New note. Neverwinter. The city. Just to make sure. Noble houses. That. Worry about that later. Okay, so now we need the military. I don't know, I haven't decided much. They need a military because technically they're at war. I didn't get too creative with them. Fairly standard. There are only one armed force. There is only one armed force. The army, which also has ships that patrol the seas. Anyone is able to enlist in the army, but it is mainly people of title that make up the higher ranks. It is not uncommon for adventurers to become soldiers higher rank or vice versa. So soldiers switching to adventuring and adventurers switching to soldiering. Since the time of peace, the standing army of the Federation has not been large. Since the time of peace. That doesn't read very well. Since the time of peace. Since it is a time of peace, comma, the standing army of the Federation, it has not been, is not large. However, there are a great number of reserves that may be called up if war ever breaks out or in times of martial law. Most postings are small contingents spread out from a main base. Rank insignia is worn on the right chest, right side of the chest. Enlisted ranks have a color associated with their rank to denote their role. Gray or black is standard infantry, blue denotes sailor, red is cavalry, green is auxiliary. And they serve as the main policing force outside of the city, along with the sheriffs. So a basic rank structure looks something like this. This might be a good time to put it in a table. Doesn't look much of a table to me. Okay, now we have that. Oh! That's what it did. Okay, now we'll just do that. Rank insignia, we don't need. Oh, that's what we need. Rank. In bold. Soldier, corporal, NCOs, foreign officers, officers. Here we go. Oops. Captain, Marshal, things like that. Okay. That looks good. Horik, if you're still around, man, what do you do about naming stuff? How creative do you guys get? Because I'm always torn between the idea of, oh, let's make up good names for everything on my own, like unique, like rank names and noble structures, and, you know, don't call him a duke and a king, call him something else, call him the grand, you know, wazoo or something. But I'm always torn because if you do that, it seems like, from my experience, players always forget what they are. Like, oh, he's the Grand Kazoo. Oh, what is that again? Oh, he's the king. Oh, okay, I got it. So, like, what's the point of giving them all these fancy titles and new, like re-skinning a lot of this stuff? Yeah, titles. If they don't ever remember what exactly they are, right? So, like, I could give my soldiers really cool rank names, right? But then the players are always going to be like, oh, who is this guy again? He's a this. Oh, does that mean he's a high guy, or is he a, you know, low-ranking person? I don't know. So you can theme them if it's important, and if it's not too important to the culture of the world, then it doesn't matter too much. Yeah, I try to theme in a way that takes advantage of what the players already know, and not try to be too fancy about a lot of stuff. Because I think I just have to spend more time in the end explaining stuff. Okay, I think that takes care of the Federation of the Sword for the most part. We have lots of images inputted. We have our cities, our culture. Oh, our blue dragon! We don't have an image of our dragon. Oh, we have to take care of that right away. Where are you? Where are you? I know we have an image of you somewhere. Where did I save you? You are probably in... You're probably in my OneNote. With blue dragons. There you are. Where's your picture? What did I use in Roll20? Fergus, handouts, mountains, Neverwinter. That's not. Oh, I have lots of NPCs I haven't made that I have to put in here. Caverns, enemies. Just need like lore. Where's the lore? Seal of Waterdeep. I know I have a picture of her somewhere. Might even be in the file. No, it's not. This is why I need to do this, because I don't know where all my stuff is. I need to put it somewhere where I can easily find it. Well, we're going to use... I had a picture of her in the campaign because I used it before. Roll20? I can't remember how I organized this stuff in the Roll20. Forest, handouts, book 1. Blah, blah, blah. Maybe I didn't. Everyone knows a general is, but if he is the grand scaled wing of the army, that tells me that something about the title should... That tells me that something about that title should tell me what is important to the country. Ah, I see. So giving some flavor by kind of what is important. Oh, scaled wing of the army, that must mean that dragons are important because they're using dragon motif for things. Okay, I get that. Yeah, we can always use words like grand or like major or minor or things like that, and the players could sort of understand and keep up with it. Like, oh, this is a like silver scale, this is a bronze scale, and this is a gold scaled rank. And oh, I know bronze is below silver and gold is the highest and things like that, but exactly. But if it's just fancy for fancy's sake, then don't even bother. Yeah. I really do think a lot of times it doesn't help you much. So if I ever play a game where someone's like, I really want to have a fancy name for this stuff, I'll be like, okay, I'll make it. But I did have a guy play a soldier background and he wanted a rank, and I'm like, okay, well, I have to give them some ranks. I asked this guy, I was like, do you care if they have special? He's like, no, just whatever is fine. And I said, okay, well then just sergeant, major, captain, lieutenant kind of thing. So he was fine with it, so that's why I used it. Again, the players doing an important role in it. We'll just use this picture for now. Save as Tansa. I know I even had a picture named Tansa in my... I swear I've done it before. Maybe it's in characters? Nope. Okay. Okay, there we go. Save you there. And then copy into this. Go back into here. Find good old Sansa and put it there. We'll use this picture of a blue dragon. First one I found. But when you try to rescale this stuff, it really messes with it quite a bit, huh? Need better images for some of these things, I think, because they need to be at least a certain size, otherwise it seems like Fantasy Grounds has a problem handling them really well. Okay, so now let's just quickly put in our noble houses. I have no idea how I'm going to do this. A table would really be nice. But when I did a table, how do you get a new column? I see like there's this... Is it enter? Enter gives me a new row. What? How do I get a new column? I might just have to deal with a list or something. I don't know. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Nine houses, because somebody wanted to play a noble, which means I have to go create a whole nobility system for them so they can fit in and they know where they stand. But each house has a position. So there's Armstone, gold, which is a list. Which is a major house allied with Foxstar. Okay, rivals of... Can I do that? Didn't do both of them. Then there's Stonedale. It doesn't do both lines when I do that. It's really annoying. Stonedale, you could also use fantasy aspects to fluff up real-world titles like Animantine General, Shadow Meister. Oh, that's a good idea, Rahori. That way it'll get the idea of the titles, but it still has a different kind of setting that doesn't mess with it. Ah, that's an idea. But use a combo of both real and fantasy to help people understand. Yeah. The same thing too, because I would like, I'm a language nerd, so I would love to make a language and use it for something, but then most people, like in any kind of, in writing or in something, people are going to be like, I don't understand. Why do we need this? And like, oh, well, because it's cool. Yeah, but so minor. That most of them don't even... There's got to be hotkeys I just don't know about. Foxstar. Is there a way to do another list? I can't even do more indentations of them. This might be a good note because of how long it ended up being. This might be a good note to make like all by itself. Neverwinter Noble Houses. And that way I can go to Neverwinter like this. I can make a new note, go to Neverwinter and go Neverwinter. And then in here I can put Noble Houses. They are X, Y, there, blah, blah, blah. And then under that, I can put just this. Don't do that. First roll it something afterward. Then drag. And that way they can click on it and see, oh, here's all the noble houses, their ranks, blah, blah, blah. Sounds good. That was very nice. Yeah. So Rahorik, what is your favorite opening encounter? You have a level 1 party, you know, not necessarily new players to the game, they could have played it before, but just they're new characters, level 1. So what is your favorite kind of an adventure or an encounter to run for that? Or quest? Oh man, when you start talking about names, I'm like, for people? Oh man, that's a deep hole for language and cultures based concepts. Yeah. I can show you what, this isn't, I don't have it typed up, but what I've been trying to do is, when I create my setting, is do something like use real world languages for naming schemes. Like, people from this country have French sounding names. They're not France, they're not from France, they're not French. But that way the characters, whenever anybody meets them, they go, oh, you have a name like, you know, Jean-Luc, you must be from this country. Right? Because it matches. And I really hate fantasy name generators because half the time the players can't pronounce anything. So... yeah. It is not easy to do that. That's why a lot of people just use name generators and don't worry about it too much. But it's another thing I didn't really like about at least the Forgotten Realms setting is there's only really one culture, and the culture of the world is D&D, right? The naming schemes, and yes, there's these you know, different races and everything, but they all kind of eat the same thing and speak the same languages roughly because everyone uses common. And that might just be the campaigns that I've played in where the DM doesn't do a whole lot with that. They just kind of go basically by book rather than doing their own thing and kind of making it more of a coherent world than just a bunch of random stuff happening somewhere, which often feels like Dungeons and Dragons. But I like strangers. Draggers for a low-level monster. They are fun, but can get scary. They have some sort of plan as a support monster. Oh. Oh, okay. What are... Let's look up our NPCs. Did you spell that correctly? S-T... Oh, it's a plant. Ah. Fringus. Is it Fae? Plant. Yes. Shrieker? No, that doesn't look it. Mosquito bats. How come it's not showing up when I search for it? S-T-I-R-G-E. Oh, because I shouldn't put in S. Maybe that messed it up. Okay. I usually pair them with a plant, is what I meant. Okay, okay. Oh wow, these guys are looking a little creepy. This horrid flying creature looks like a cross between a large bat and an oversized mosquito. Ah. CR18, 25 XP, 14 armor but 2 hit points. So basically if you hit, you kill it. But they could be tricky to hit. Ah, and they can fly, right? Pair them with some kind of man-eating plant or something. That's good. Do you think a dungeon crawl or a small, not a big dungeon, but a smaller dungeon crawl, maybe only like 5-6 rooms or something like that, is good for a low-level party? Or do you rather do like some outdoor kind of goblin cave with a few rooms or whatnot? Yeah, they also latch onto your friends. Ah, then you have to try to hit them and not do damage to your friend. That's always fun. Cool. I think that takes care of the Federation. Let's see. Who should I... Yeah, maybe with something like 3 encounters or something. Because the last time I ran this campaign, I started it with a mini dungeon. That's because mostly that's what the party wanted. They're like, oh yeah, we like this kind of style of play, so let's, like, okay, well I can make you a low level something and we can get right into it. But I'm trying to see what I should import from my... I mean, that was just the setting. I haven't really done much of the campaign. Yeah, if that's what people want, sure. Doesn't hurt. Doesn't hurt at all. Very true. Oh, one cool thing I didn't even talk about. Maybe I should make a note about this. Let's make a note. New note. We'll figure out what to put it later. Dragonborn. Because Dragonborn is a race. Right? Yes, they are a race that players can play. But in my campaign, Dragonborn are not a race. They are beings transformed by ancient dragons. So if you ever see a Dragonborn, they're either a great champion or a great enemy, because they have been basically like ordained by their dragon ruler and given this appearance and their abilities. I actually had one player who, what is it, a warlock can be like dragon blood as a background or something like that, where they're touched by a dragon and then they have like scales maybe on their arm a little bit or something like that. Yeah, they're the chosen. And the players could, of course, become one in the future. Sorcerer, that's right. Sorcerer has it. It's wild magic or dragon blood or something. So it's always fun. I had my players, as they were traveling, come across this like grand procession of this Dragonborn knight as they were traveling, and they had to like go to the side of the road and bow as they went past and all that kind of stuff. But which is pretty cool. But it's also something that they can strive for if they're really interested in. But also it's like anything connected to dragons are elevated a little bit more. So that's pretty cool. Yeah. Yeah, I like doing things like that. Like, even if it's not a combat encounter, just giving the players a chance to see things in the world. Like, they're not the only ones traveling. It's not like, oh, you travel for 3 days and you arrive. Like, oh, you travel for a day and a half, and on the second day, this happens, and they're all like, whoa, that's really cool. And you continue on. Like, can kind of make the world, at least I try to do it, in the sense that it makes the world seem more alive than just the players running around and interacting with the odd NPC or something. So, but yeah. Okay, so I do have, let's do, I don't know about a quest. I don't know if we can turn a note into a quest. Yeah, give life to the world is a good thing. Great. Because what I can do is I can turn text into chat framed and blah blah blah, but it's not a quest. It's a parcel. There's encounters. We can build encounters. I don't really do that. Quests are just do this. We need, like, isn't there like a story? There it is, story. Here we go. I think stories are just, I guess they're in the story page. Not anything else. And I loaded a lot of stories in because I wanted to be able to see what to do. But let's do that. Let's story. Shouldn't have loaded all of these because now I don't know where my own is. Let's do a new story, and I'll show you what my campaign setting, not the setting, the campaign itself is about, the first arc. Because I do have the first arc planned out. I've never gotten past it. Because the arc is supposed to take them to level 5, and I haven't had parties last that long. If you don't mind spoilers, let you feel the consequences and don't feel adversarial. Yeah. And they learn things like, oh, here's a chance to talk to somebody else or just have a role play time. So, especially with parties that like to role play, I like doing that because it gives the party a chance to like, oh, we want to roleplay something. Okay, here you go. So. You murder, what? A little bit of culture way. Why am I a murderer? Yeah, roleplay time is good. Oh, deleting stuff? Is that what it was? New story. So this is, what did I call the first arc? The book 1. I called it book 1. Not 3 O's. Book 1, The Death of Smaug. Death of Smaug. Okay. Murder is that no one gets to level 5. No, the party just broke up. Like, oh, I can't play on this day anymore, and oh, yeah, me too, and it's like, oh, whatever. Because, like, you can get to level 2 or 3 in a couple weeks, and then getting to 4 and 5 really seems to be the test if the players are gonna not just flake and pick different days. And I'm like, well, we could postpone it until we all can meet again, but the true killer of heroes and campaigns, scheduling. Yeah, I love looking for players and be like, okay, please have a set schedule that you can play. And then they're like, oh yeah, my schedule hasn't changed in like 2 years. I'm like, great, you can play. And then 2 months later, oh, would you believe it? My schedule's changing. You're like, what? Yeah. So. Yeah, I need to find some people I can play with online that are more reliable and who don't, one, like, obviously do something else in the background while they're listening to everybody else in chat. Because that also really got to me, was like, let's play an online game because we all can't be in person together, and oh, it's online, so I'm also going to have on my second screen like a YouTube video or something. I'm like, you're not even paying attention to what round it is in combat. So, a way to keep them. Part 1 opening. Was this the new campaign, and do I put in like a new... How did they do it? Court of the Dragon Queen. They have episodes. When you open an episode, inside there's artwork. And inside this part, they have a group. How do you make a group? Maybe here? So add item. Like, is this... How do I spell it again? Is there a T? Yes, there is a T. Excellent. Oops. Here be dragons. Okay, and then so I say campaign stuff. And then I put book 1. Put a space in between, because otherwise it does that. Then I put Book of Smaug 1. And when I open it, didn't load all this stuff because now I don't know what I actually am doing. Because where's mine? Module. Maybe I have to make a module or something like that. Book 1. How did our... They have like this, and inside they have this one. You open it up, there's all this stuff. And it clicks over. Oh, it clicks over because I don't think our notes click over. So that's helpful with the stories that I can click through pages. Ah, that does work. Book 1. Oh, that's pretty cool. Okay, we'll definitely use this to make our campaign. So book 1 is the death of Smaug. Smaug is the Black Dragon ruler, and when he dies unexpectedly, it kind of kicks off chaos. So as the adventurers are leveling up and going about their quests, there's this overarching world event happening that they end up hearing about. So now this is mostly built in Roll20 because I have it written out. Actually, I have it written out in my OneNote. So here we go. So the book 1, maybe we should do something like I can make lots of. Can I make something? I can't make. I have to go back to story and add a new item for each one. So this opening is maybe this, but opening. We'll call it opening for now. Book 1. We'll call it chapter 1. Opening. Going with the book theme. Let's go with that. So opening chapter 1. So why does it not have a name associated with it? Chapter 1. There we go. Can I title this? Paragraph title. No, because then I got rid of it. Okay. So it starts out with something. Let's see. So it is the time of the first Zol of Sun, and it is the festival of the two moons. Very busy. Meeting someone on the road. What, you people haven't heard? Dragon King Smaug has died. Maybe you should return home. The road will only remain safe for so long. Yeah, actually, I should show you I made a handout. Let's see if I can find it. It should be in my images. My handout. There it is. Let's copy this one and put it into our. Maybe this one should be campaign. Campaign. Book 1. Oh, someone's at my door. Hang on a second. I'll be right back. Sorry about that. Wasn't expecting a delivery this time of day. Okay, so where was it? Oh yes, the handout I wanted to show you. Go to our maps and our images. There it is, Smaug dead. We need to put some text in here. Oops, that didn't work. Put some text in so we can move around easily. And drag our image over. Smog is dead. Smog dead. Oh man, that's huge. This is one of my very first attempts to make something. There we go. Let it be known. Smog, the absolute ruler of the domain is dead. All citizens near the border are to be diligent against possible attacks. So this is after they do their first little quest, which is like, you know, kill some goblins or something. Right? They see this poster plastered all over the place. They are not close to the border, but it's a public announcement, so I have like criers and whatnot who are doing it. Like, you know, reading things out in the town square, and the posters are everywhere and people are talking about it. You haven't heard? You haven't heard? Smog is dead. Are they in Smog's land? No, they are in the the campaigns I've run have started in the Federation of the Sword. So Smog's land is the black is the black area over here. And this is their country, the Federation. So it does border it a little bit. But usually they're kind of, I need to use this key. They're playing usually over here. So, I mean, it would be quite a trip to get to the border, but there's not a whole lot. This is pretty empty. There's not a whole lot between them and an army that wants to march straight over here. So, most of my game has taken place Waterdeep, Neverwinter, this kind of area. Around the Star Mountain and things. So far. I mean, we can always set a campaign wherever we want, but that's what we've always done before. Are they going to be conscripted? Does Smog have an heir? In terms of being conscripted, can't say that word. It depends on how the party interacts. Like, if the party's like, we want to go fight Smog's people. Okay, well, maybe you'll need to join the army or something like that. It's kind of up to the players. I wouldn't ever force them to be in the army and go fight. What I'd more likely do is say, hey, here's more quests that you can do close to the border. Things like that. And are the other 4 dragons going to try to divide up his lands? Rohorik, that is something I haven't decided yet. I haven't written the story out that far ahead. What happens, book 2, I already know the name of book 2. In book 2 is called the Chroma Conclave. So the first time in history that anybody, better way to put it is the first time since time immemorial, the first time since anybody can remember, the dragons all meet to discuss what they should do. And I haven't decided what they're going to do. I definitely think it's going to fight. They're going to fight each other again. The ones bordering it are going to want to move in. Those who don't border him, if you look at our map, the green dragon does not border him at all, but the other 3 do. The other 3 are definitely more worried about it. Red is very militaristic, so they're probably going to want to go. But if red and white get powerful, green has a problem, because green borders red and white. So, blue, while bordering, only has a small border, easily defended, and definitely doesn't want to see neighbor white get any bigger. So yeah, lots of chances for drama. I haven't written too much about that because it is far along in the campaign. But green might aid blue or red in attacking white while they're both north or something like that. Yeah, or while white moves up, green decides it's time to take some of white's land. And blue might do the same, like, you know. So book 2 is the world is at war again, basically. Armies start to move and things like that. And I really want to use Matt Colville's Kingdoms and Warfare and Followers, right? What are they called? Something in Followers and... I can't believe I can't remember the name of it. What is it called? Yeah. He has Followers, and then Strongholds and Followers, that's what it is. And then Warfare and something, right? Kingdoms and Warfare, that's right. Strongholds and Followers, Kingdoms and Warfare. Got it. Okay. What? Was the Critical Role group of dragons. Yeah, it's a good name. So I took it. But for the meeting, they're not a group. It's literally an event. It's the Chroma Conclave. It's where they all come together. Alright. No, I know it's Critical Role. But I was like, that's really cool, where the dragons are in a little group and they... you know, whatever. But this way it's more of an event rather than a consistent group. It's just it's an event that happens. So no, #1 rule of DMing, steal what you like, man. So that's what's gonna happen. And it fits the name, right? It's literally the chromatic dragons having a conclave, having a meeting. And like, it's good enough. So, Smog is dead. So, let me go back to my campaign here. So we start off by doing something like this. Paste. What is the time? It's very busy for everyone. Then I always ask the players, what do you do during the festival? Paragraph type, chat frame, easy. What is the festival? Oops, what is the festival? Like that. However, for our would-be adventurers, this is not the case. Oh, so Rahorik, this is my opening, no matter... I mean, lots of things can be a little different later on. But I always love to start my campaign with the idea that the players have tried to join the Adventuring Guild before, but they failed. They weren't strong enough, they weren't whatever enough, and they're getting a second chance to be inducted. And so the first quest is always a quest to get them into the guild. And I like the idea of starting out with like, oh, in the past you're a failure. And basically that's my level 0 story. Like, okay, you're a ranger. How did you go from being your backstory, hunter, nomad, whatever, to ranger? Well, you had a level 0 session or a level 0 quest, and that was to join, but it failed. So now you're doing it again, but now you're a level 1 ranger. And that's why you're going to succeed this time, because you're not just a hunter, you're a ranger now, or something like that. So that's how I open. That's how I set up my opening. What do you think? Sound good? Good, yeah. And it doesn't have any bearing on the campaign. Like, oh, what happened? How did I fail? Like, oh, make it up, and it's, you know, you can have it play a role, like you meet people later on, or it can just be in the past and it doesn't do anything for you. Just backstory. You all failed your trial. What was your trial and how did you fail? I like the chat box because it makes it easy for me to even see it. We'll kill something, can be class-based or not. Something like that. Normally one is not given a second chance. But a letter from the guild. Let me get rid of that. From the guild. I renamed stuff and now it doesn't work. They're just the guild. Everyone in the Federation knows. I might even have them tell me how they... Yeah, that's the first bit of roleplay they get to do for Horik. Is they get to go, hey, like, tell me about your backstory a little bit. Introduce us to your character. Well, he was this. We went and we did this mission and everybody got killed, but he managed to escape or something like that. But and so they kind of get to hear about their character a little bit and what they think their character is like. So yeah, who's to blame? And you can always make NPCs off of it too, like that. We're told to meet someone at the inn. Very standard D&D. Eyes. And so this is going to be like our first... So the first kind of thing is basically they just go to a tavern. They arrive at the inn. They have a chance to roleplay with each other. I have this all nicely nested little stuff. Failure, betrayal, or absence. Yeah, let's see if I wrote down what my players did. Did I record it? I don't know if I wrote down what they did. If I did, I maybe just wrote it on a piece of paper and not actually. Neverwinter, no. I don't know if I did. Party notes? Nope, no one took notes. At least not in there. Oh, character notes. Oh, there it is. It's notes, but not what they did. I don't see it. I don't know if I wrote it down or not. But I remember one of my players, they went to kill some goblins and they got killed instead. They managed to escape. Another player, they were tasked to go find some relic and they managed to get it, and on the way back they got robbed. So that they didn't even realize it was gone until they presented it at the end. They're like, oh yes, here is my item you told me to go get. And they open the bag and it's just not there. And then they get just like kicked out. Something like that. So they were pretty creative. I was really amazed. The two parties I've done this with, they were pretty creative in their backstories about how they failed their mission. So not just the standard I went out and got beat. Yeah. Different levels of failure. I got all the way to the end and then failed, or I didn't even get started. Oh, that was right. One of them was a dwarf and he got drowned.